On this episode, I'm going to show you how I built this giant classic NES console. And I did something really special. I put a classic NES game inside, but it's not made of electronics or anything like that. It's made of wood, because this is a woodworking show. Let me show you. It's Duck Hunt. I made this as a mechanical wooden arcade game. If you want to see how I built it, designed it, and how it all works, stick around, because we're going to get started. Let's first start by talking about the NES console and how I designed the box. Now, this box is not to the exact proportions of the NES console, but it does have some really cool features. This little power button right here actually works. I can push it in and let it go and it bounces back. It actually acts as a latch to the actual lid. This is the lid. As you can see, I'm pulling it up and it's not going up. It's actually hooked in right here. And when I push this button, it opens, releases the latch, and I'm able to open it. Now what's really cool is right here, I don't know if you can see it because of the light, but there's a little LED light that powers on. I'll show you how that is. Let me grab the camera. Okay, here we are on the other side, and this is the actual latching mechanism that holds the lid together. There's an actual pin right here that I just removed, and I can pull out this little spacer and push this in and remove the whole button. Now this is it. Let me focus this. This is it. It's really simple. This is the little button right here, made of wood. And here's the little springs that push it back. And I made this kind of interesting. I could take it out and put them in like this right here, or I made a little slide that I can pull them from the back. And that was just something that I had. It's not really necessary because I can just remove the whole mechanism, but it really is simple. It just fits back in. It all goes back together just like this. You push that in, slide it, let the button go forward, and then you put this little block to wedge and hold everything in place. And this is the little LED light. It just goes right back in its little hole. And then this pin, let me show you. Right here, that goes straight in. And the only reason why I have that is because I wanted everything to stay in place, and when this thing was moving around, I didn't want it to fall out, so I needed something to hold it in place. All right, let's look at the back panel and I'll show you how that works. All right, so let's talk about the mechanics and how this game actually works. Behind this screen is actually a weight and lever system with 2 triggers. And both triggers have to be initiated in order for the dog to pop up. These 2 ducks are those triggers. It doesn't matter which order they fall down, as long as both of them fall down, the dog will pop up. This screen is actually wood, and I had it specially printed on by a buddy of mine, and I'll put his link to his business, and if you have anything that you want to print on wood, give him a call. So let's talk about this. Let me show you. When you push this or hit this first duck, nothing happens. When you hit this duck, the dog pops up. Let's take a look and see what's behind this. All right, first, let's talk about this piece. This is the screen, and there's 3 holes. And on back, I have some strategically placed magnets. That's to hold everything in place so this board doesn't pop off, and I can get easy access to the mechanics to fix anything if I need to. Okay, so this is the dog, and this is the weight system. So it's a simple counterbalance. This is my counterweight, and this is the actual dog board that's printed. And I have a little 1-inch pulley that's at the top, and these are my rails. And I had to put some popsicle sticks in here because I had some issues with it sticking. And this sits down, and when I pop this up, it catches right here. And then when this one pops up, it catches right there. Now, these are really lightweight. I would recommend, if you want to build this, to use a heavier material like MDF. In my prototype, I actually used MDF, but in the actual build, I printed on a 1/4 inch lightweight wood, and the lightweight actually is giving me some problems. But nothing, you know, I can't fix later down the road. Now, you can see everything's held in place right here, and this is actually very precarious because this plate actually helps hold all the mechanics in the right spot. You can see here that this duck has a little notch that's overlapping the main dog plate, and then this duck has the same thing, just the reverse of that. When this, I'm gonna hold it so I can show you, but when this one falls, it opens up a little gap that this can then flow upwards. And this is the only thing holding this in place. When this one falls, it allows the dog to pop up. Now when this plate is in, it will never go to the top like this. I put a stop block right here. So the dog stops at exactly the right spot. Okay, let me bring the camera in a little closer to give you a little bit more detail. Okay, here we are. You can kind of see the details of everything. And I'm gonna push this down and lift this up. And I had tested, because I was having some issues with the lightweightness of this duck. I put some little double-sided sticky tape to actually help it, but it really didn't do anything. I just need to replace this whole mechanism with a heavier plate. And let me see if I can get my camera in here. On the back is a little hinge, so when he falls, this goes upwards, just like that. And here's my stop block. You can see it. And then over here is the other duck. And I'll show you. It's hooked in just the same way. And when he falls, the dog goes up. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. This is the actual latch that holds the top lid in place, and it goes in right here. And you can see the button, when pushed, opens up a little space for this to go into. So I can push it in, push it out, and it all works. And here's a different view. Here's the little LED. I don't have it any glued in, it's just sitting there. And it's right here, so you can see I have it right here. And here's the limit switch. Let me move this out of the way. Here's the limit switch. When I push it, it turns off the light. When I release it, it turns it on. So that's all the mechanics. This right here, I just put in. You don't have to do it this way. It was just an easy, clean way to paint everything. This just slides out. Let me pull that out. And this whole thing just pops out. I just did that because I wanted this to be as clean as possible, and it was more about just getting the right paint job than it was anything. It really serves no function. So there it is. That's it. That's the insides of the game. Pretty simple, right? All right, so let me put the panel back on and show you how that works. So I just find the magnets, make sure everything's in place. You can kind of hear them clipping in right now. This side's always the tricky side. Right there, we got it in. Those magnets hold everything and pull it in place. And then that's it, the panel's on. Okay, so here's the classic NES Zapper that I made. It's actually a Nerf gun, and I just basically masked everything off and spray painted it. There's nothing fancy about it. I'll put a link to this in the description below. I just got this off of Amazon, and it works really well. It was the right scale and proportion, and it works really great. I really love it. Okay, now let me show you how to reset the game. As I showed you before, when I reached my hand in, when all this was off, I showed you kind of what was going on. But now I'm going to do it with the panel on. Put my hand in here, pull the dog down, grab the duck over here and hold it in place, and then hold this one and then let it go. All right, let's play. So this is simple, just load the Nerf dart in, push it forward, shoot the other duck, and the dog pops up. And I just repeat this over and over again. Reset the dog, put my finger in, pull the other duck up, pull this duck up, and then go at it. It gets me every time that dog pops up. That was one thing about the original game. I really didn't like the dog, but he's actually become one of my favorite things about the game. All right, so that's the mechanics and everything behind this screen. So remember, we used basic simple weights and levers, and wood is a track. And the two ducks act as a trigger that hold the dog in place when they're popped up. And if you liked this video, smash that thumbs up button for me. And if you have any questions about it that I didn't answer in this video, please post them below. I read everything. All right, that's it. And if you want to watch more of this type of stuff from me, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and ding that bell to get notified. If not, no worries. Till next time, I'll see you later. Okay, I'm going to give you a close-up view of how this button works, because I know you really want to see it. See, look. And it pops right back out. That's it. You want to see it again? I know you did. Okay, let's do it again. See? Nothing's working. And that's it. That's the button.